It is a good afternoon here at Kilifi, wherever you are watching us from. Welcome again to Ananda TV. For those who have always been coming back to watch our videos, thank you so much for the support. And for those watching us for the first time, this is Ananda TV. Here we normally try to address the issues facing the resident of Kilifi and the coastal region as a whole. I have also introduced a new show on the Ananda TV where I will be inviting our leaders for interviews and talk shows on matters affecting us. And today I'm honored to host the president of the Kilifi Youth Assembly. She is also a lawyer and also an officer at Malindi Community Human Rights Center. Mheshimiwa, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm glad.
Thank you so much for coming. Tuambie kwanza siri ni nini?
Siri gani?
Unarembeka sana, unameremeta.
Ni neema tu. Ni neema tu. Ni neema tu. Ni kubali vitu zenye hawezi geuza na zenye ziko pia unashukuru.
Unashukuru tu kwa hizo. Si mafuta. Si mafuta labda. Unajua watu wengi sana wakiulizwa mbona unameremeta sana. Wao wanasema ni God, lakini lazima kuna siri fulani yenye unatumia labda mafuta.
No, hakuna cha siri, ni hivi. For the things that you cannot change, stop worrying about them. Na zile ambazo Mungu amekujalia, shukuru tu na hizo. Yeah, that's the secret.
Okay, so for those watching you for the first time, tell us about yourself.
So my name is Jacinta Mbeyusanga. I am a youth president elected and sworn in by the Chief Magistrate, former Chief Magistrate to Malindi High Court. Yeah, and I am a lawyer by profession and also a human rights activist, which brings me to the role of being the Deputy Executive Director to Malindi Community Human Rights Center. Yeah, so actually that is me. Yeah. Probably I should say I'm 26 years old. I'm not young.
You look young though, you look young. So are you still in school doing law or you graduated from?
Actually, I did graduate. That's why I am a lawyer. Yeah. Thank you.
Where did you went to high school?
High school, I schooled at Malindi Premier High School. I started at Ngala Memorial, it's in Watamu. And then I went to Malindi Premier. Yeah. Okay,
so how did the youth assembly came to be like before?
For Kilifi, we started in 2019. Yeah, December 2019. We had our first meetings where we were a number of us as youth. And thereafter, formally, we can say 2020 because that's when we started having the trainings, the seminars to fully understand the concept of the youth assembly. But for Kilifi, that is, we started in 2019 as a group of young people yearning for change and yeah.
So it was not brought up by the government? No. Like it is not a government initiative?
It is not a government initiative.
Okay, so who is financing you?
So before we go to the financing of the Youth Assembly, probably I should give a brief about what the Youth Assembly is. So actually, the Youth Assembly started back in Mombasa, where they used to term it as Mombasa Youth Bunge, if I am not wrong. And then they later on changed it to Mombasa Youth Assembly. And thereafter, because they had a number of donors, they thought it better, since it was working for Mombasa, then they should give a chance to the other counties in Kenya, the 47 counties, to actually establish the youth assemblies. So they created or they formed the Kenya Youth Assemblies Foundation, whose key mandate is to establish youth assemblies all over Kenya, and probably if they broaden, they'll go beyond Kenya. The main agenda for bringing in the Youth Assembly one was to create a platform whereby youth can actually learn the aspect of leadership. And then the second one is to provide a linkage between the community and the government institutions and other institutions, the government and other institutions, that is. This is because when you see in Kenya, let's say Kenya generally, the youth tend to say, or we tend to say, that we are at a place whereby our needs are not met. So if our needs are not met, what are we expected to do, or what are we supposed to do? So one, when they were done with establishing the Mombasa one, we had Kwale, there is Lamu, Machakos, and now Kilifi. So for Kilifi, specifically, let me talk about Kilifi before I speak about Kenya in general. For Kilifi, we actually saw what Mombasa was doing as an assembly. That was first. And then we put it into context. If we had the same structure as Mombasa, what could we gain? What could the youth of Kilifi County gain through this platform? So there was one member who was in Mombasa Youth Assembly, that is, but his route home was Kilifi. And then there was me, who I was on attachment at Mombasa Law Court. We came to learn about the whole concept of the Youth Assembly. Then thereafter we met while in Kilifi and a few other people. And then we thought it wise to have a youth assembly established in Kilifi. So we started the movement, actually without the government, without anybody supporting us. We walked all over the wards of Kilifi County, trying to spread the knowledge about the youth assembly and see if we are going to get like-minded youth who are going to come on board and see of a way whereby we will establish the youth assembly. So as we were moving around, that's when we got to contact the Kenya Youth Assemblies Foundation, and then they guided us on the formation of the youth assembly. Yeah. So I'd say it's so unfortunate, or it's so fortunate, that it came in at a place whereby it was the election period was quite near. And that's why people in Kilifi, most of we, perceived it as a political platform. Yeah. But actually it wasn't. Now we can say it wasn't, because it's still here and the elections are done. So the Youth Assembly came in, one, to provide the linkage, and two, to nurture leadership.
Provide the linkage between the youth
and the government and other institutions, not only the government. Yes. And the other one is to nurture the leadership skills, because there is this trend. It's not only in Kilifi, but I don't know, Africa or Kenya. We tend to say that we elect our leaders, but whenever they go to the leadership positions, they tend to forget who we are. They tend to forget what we actually want. So we wanted to bring in a platform whereby we'll nurture this generation, so that when a number of us are elected to the elective positions, or not even the administrative positions within the county level, they'll tend to curb the gap that is being seen right now. So here at the Youth Assembly, we take in the same structure as the county assembly, but we have other structures like the CS. We call them CS. Under the county, they are CECM. Yeah. But as for us, we just call them cabinet secretaries. And then for the governor position, we call that person a president. So this is the structure for the Youth Assembly. We have the president, we have the vice president, we have the secretary to the cabinet, and then thereafter we have two arms. There are two arms, the legislature and the executive arm. So the president, the secretary to the cabinet, the vice, they're all under the executive either way. But then we still have cabinet secretaries. These cabinet secretaries under the Youth Assembly, that's Kilifi Youth Assembly, represent different departments under the Youth Assemblies.
What are some of the departments?
I will talk about them. And then there are 10 of them. And then they also have committees under their department. Each department has 5 committee members. On the legislature part, we have 35 members of parliament. When we come to the county assembly, they are MCAs. But as for us, we call them MPs, members of parliament. Yeah, but the category is for the MCA one. These members of parliament have a committee of 15 members. So it's in each ward we have a representation of 16 people. That's 35 wards of Kilifi County.